Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go fast. She has played Jenny. I have a tricky rack, 3 A's, 2 R's. There could be a bingo here, but there probably isn't. I'm just looking at the floaters in Jenny to see if there's an 8. There certainly isn't a 7. I've got the ABLE ending. That doesn't work. Okay, I can't see anything. Now, I note that I have arable in column 5, which isn't going to score a huge amount, but it is going to sort the rack out. Do I have something better? And in particular, do I have something through the J? So I'm looking for a 5-letter play beginning or ending with J. Paterae has J in the middle. That doesn't work. No, can't see anything. So I'm just pausing in case there's something better than arable, which runs parallel to Jenny. I note that J takes an A, so I could play across here. Well, I can't see anything which sorts out the duplicates and triplicates on my rack, and arable certainly does do that. And I quite like having an open board. Arable 16. Wow, 3 R's, not great. I do have the P as a scoring tile. Again, I must check to see if I have any bingos. As soon as you have multiple tiles, the likelihood of a bingo goes down, but they can still be there. Parias is good, I believe, and possibly Sparia. Neither of those plays at the moment. I'd need a floating E for that. I can't see a bingo with the existing floaters. I was going to say Girat is good. I'm not sure it is. I think it's Girat. I would like to play off 2 R's. That's going to be difficult. I'm looking around to see if there's anywhere good for my P. Arable only scored 16 points, so I'm 30 points behind, and my opponent is on turn. Ah, well, my P can go in front of arable to make parable. But I can't see a way of playing off 2 R's with it. Well, my opponent provides an E, but it's not in the right spot for my bingos. I'm looking in column 8 to see if I've got an 8-letter word ending Eggy. Now, I know that Peggy takes a P in front. So, do I have a 5-letter play beginning with P and not using my S? I could use my S and play pars. Let me see what this scores. I should only be using my S if I can score 8 or more points than the next best play. 35 points is pretty good, so can I score 27 without using the S? I don't think so. Still a long way from a bingo, but I have the X, which is a good scoring tile. I have Dewey in column 4, Jewie. I don't have to play the X straight away, especially when my rack is not bingo-y. Dewey would be 15 points. Can't see anywhere great for my X in any event. Wow, good score for my opponent. 50 points for Fez. Dewey is still available, which is good. Zard does take an X at the end. So I could play Wex down here. Let me see what this scores. It does keep 2 eyes, which is bad. But it plays off all of both of my non-bingo-y tiles. And it's 44 points. Dewey, 30 points. This is 14 more points than Dewey. It's a better play. Wow, I'm just thinking 44 points, that's another 9 points, and it helps the vowel consonant ratio. So that's an even better play, 53 points. Well, a whole bunch of eyes, but not surprising since I kept 2 of them. I do have high oi on my rack. I'm now just 1 point behind, but my opponent's on turn. I certainly would like to play off 2 eyes, and high oi would leave EIR, which is a pretty good rack leave from this starting position. But I can't see anywhere to play it. Well, I could play in row E, beginning underneath the S of pars, but that's not going to score very much, and it's going to open column 15, so that's not a good play. Hoi, well, wouldn't be as good as high oi, but it would play off some of my vowels. I note that if I had played a P in front of parable, then parable takes an S in front to make sparable. But I think that's unlikely to happen now, even though there's 1 P outstanding. Unless it's a deliberate setup later. I don't have anything down from the J, which reaches a double word square. So I'm hoping my opponent will provide something. Now through a P, I would have Po Hiri. I'm looking in column 10. Wow. Good bingo by my opponent, 60 points. I'm immediately looking to see if there's somewhere for high oi, and I can't see anywhere. I'm also looking in row B to see if I can place my H on this triple letter square and reach across to this double word square. But annoyingly, I can't see a way of doing that. High oi doesn't play in column 11 because OG isn't good. This is a tricky spot to be in. And having got the game back to 1 point behind, I'm now a bingo behind. I have no idea what to do here. I have to play off 2 I's. I don't have to play off the H. I'm looking to see if I can play in row H through the N of roseting and reach the triple word square. I just can't see a way of doing that. I don't think honeyer is good. Well, I could play noir, keeping EHII. I'm thinking about changing. Because nothing good is coming to mind, and noir scores very little, and I'm unlikely to bingo next go if I retain 2 I's. So, change. Do I keep the H? I think I will. Great. I draw the first blank, and I have a bingo-y rack. So, what bingos do I have? I don't think roseting takes an S, otherwise I would have ciphers in row J. So do I have anything through the R of roseting? I'm not sure about chirpers, but that doesn't quite fit anyway. I'm pretty sure I will have a bingo with this rack. I'm going to run through the alphabet because there are 7-letter bingo lanes available parallel to roseting, coming down here and here. So at the moment all I've seen is ciphers as a 7. Well, if chirpers is good, I have it down here, placing the H on this triple letter square. Well, that looks like there's a bingo there. I think it's Charpy. That doesn't play. Okay, my chirper's spot has been taken. What does Chorea take after it? An S, I'm sure. Ah, well, do I have Spheric? I do, and this is going to score hugely. I'm pretty sure Chorea's is good. I'm placing the H on the double letter square. Spheric does take an A in front. That's 112 points, which is huge. I don't think I've got another play coming down there which is going to score that much. I would have to have the H on this spot. Yeah, I can't see anything. I don't draw an A, which is annoying. There are 5 of them out there. I would expect my opponent to spot that. 42 points if she does. I don't have a great rack. I do have Novelty, which plays down here, placing the V and the Y on premium squares and opening the board up. I'm only 13 points ahead. If my opponent plays a Spheric, I'm about 30 points behind, so I'd like to keep the board open. The V and the Y are not bingo-y tiles, and Novelty would also split up the duplicate L. And there's still a blank and 3 S's unplayed, so playing off 6 tiles increases my chances of drawing one of those. 50 points for my opponent. So, Novelty. £29 points. I don't draw an S or a blank. But this is quite a good set of letters. So I'm looking at... Oh, if my U had been an A, I would have had joinable in column 4. I'm looking at the floaters in Novelty to see if I've got a bingo. Can't see anything with the V or the E. Or the L. What about the T? Nothing there. I'm only 8 points behind, but my opponent is on turn. I can't see a bingo with this rack. My opponent changes. I don't think Unilobe is good. That would play in column 13 down here. I think it may be Unilobed or neither. So what to do with this rack? I'm looking to play off the B and the U. And at least one more vowel. Well, I can play Jubile. down here. And this is going to play off a lot of tiles, which is again good given the S's and blanks that are not played, that have not yet been played. Rack-leave not great, but not awful either. I am obscuring the floaters in novelty, but these bingo lanes in columns 11 and 13 remain available. And 30 points is quite good. Well, no blank or S, but no duplicate tiles in a balanced rack. So, do I have a bingo here? I can't see a 7. I'm looking at the floaters in novelty. I note that Jubal takes an E and an S on the end. I'm working my way down novelty. I'm up to L, haven't seen anything. No, can't see anything. I've got a 22-point lead, but that will disappear if my opponent bingos. And the remaining tiles are fairly bingo-y. There's the R of pars as a floater. I've got the I-U-M ending as well as the UN beginning. Now, if I can't see a bingo, I've got the M for score. So I'm looking in column 3 to see if I can play parallel to Jubal and place my M next to the U. That's not looking good. I don't have anything which goes next to the I, apart from an O. So what about row N, using the Jubilee hook? Only one E left, so I don't want to burn my E. So I think I will pass on that. Now my M could go underneath the E of Choreas, 16 points. Well, I'm looking to play off at least the U as well. My opponent's taking a while. She may have the blank and be looking for the best possible bingo. Now I do have pairs of letters in Jubal and Novelty to consider for 9-letter bingos. Can't see anything with the B and V. The I and the E duplicate tiles. L and L not promising. E and T. Can't see anything. Well, at the moment I do not have a candidate play. Ah, I do now. I've seen Raum down here, R-O-U-M. Only 22 points, but the rack leave of E-I-N-R is quite good. Although the I may be troublesome given the number of unplayed I's, 5 of them. Great, my opponent plays off the final E, reducing her prospects of bingoing. Now, is there anything better than Raum? It would certainly be annoying to miss a bingo with this rack. But I haven't seen one. So let me play Raum and see how many I's I can pick up. None. Fantastic. That's a pretty good rack. Can't immediately see a bingo. I now have, well, a 22-point lead, which is nothing really. I will be struggling if my opponent bingos. She has provided another floater in the N of knee for column 2. I can't see anything great with this rack. I'm scanning the bingos in, sorry, the floaters in novelty. My opponent has bingoed 85 points. That's a big one. She's now 63 points ahead. There are 16 tiles in the bag. She's played off the final blank. So this is looking grim. Do I have anything through the W and or the S of Matlows? Can't see anything through the W. No. Now it's the F which is the really unbingo-y tile. I'm mindful of the fact that there are 5 eyes out there. So, what to do? I don't want to block any bingo lanes. I could just play F and of here. Given that I'm behind, I'd like to play off as few tiles as possible. But the risk with doing that is I draw an I, in which case I wouldn't have a bingo. It's only 20 points. So I wonder if I can play down here. I will be blocking the N, but the N isn't particularly useful. There are no G's played, so this isn't a column for a bingo lane for ing words. So, do I have anything across here? I certainly don't want to play off my E. I don't think fide is good. I think that's only in the plural. I could play Fon across the bottom here. The rack leave is good apart from the unplayed eyes. And this does stop my opponent from playing here. If she had QUA, that would have been a good score. 22 points is not great. And I'm not providing any distractions for my opponent so she can concentrate on just closing out these bingo lanes, and I'll then be in the position of having to open bingo lanes. So that's quite hard to do in a way that keeps them open, because once my opponent has closed down all the bingo lanes, she can just close down any new ones I open. Having said that, I can't see well, 7 minutes left, 16 tiles in the bag. It would be so easy for my opponent next go to just play across from this W, a sort of 4-letter word, and that's it. It kills the W, the S, the G. I've taken out the N, and then the board is absolutely stone cold. I'm only getting 22 points for Foy. I think I need to open the board up. So what about Foyne down here? I'm playing off an I, which I want to do. Let me consider the remaining vowels. 11 vowels out of 23 tiles. Okay, the board's not too heavy, not too vowel heavy. What Foyne does is open up column 1. So I'll have a good 7-letter lane in column 1 and in column 13, and I'll keep the in particular the S floater here. Well, although there's lots of I's, overall there aren't a lot of vowels. 11 vowels out of 23 is less than half. So what I'm thinking about doing is just playing thin. If my opponent plays down here, unless it begins at row at this spot, K1, then she'll be opening up column 2 as a bingo lane. Finn does have plenty of floaters, but if my opponent is attracted to playing a 3-letter word across here, that's fine by me, because she's keeping open the bingo lanes I want kept open. Right. I have undoers down here and GU. Undoers, sounder, resound. None of those play in column 1, but hopefully column 1 will be the column that worries my opponent. 14 tiles in the bag. Now, do I have anything other than undoers? 45 points for my opponent. Rats. Okay. Well, I'm still going to be behind after this. And my opponent may be plagued by the eyes. So 72 points, which is going to take me to 375. I'll be 30 behind. But there'll be 2 good lanes open. There's column 1 and row O. Not great. I do have scoring tiles. In row O, I have Kavass, K-A-V-A-S-S. I'm expecting my opponent to block that. I don't have any vowel which goes in front of the F, or rather my A doesn't go in front of that. My opponent is more likely to take out this row than column 1. So I'm in a grim position, but not a hopeless one. Only 4 tiles in the bag, so I haven't really got any time to sort this rack out. There are no scoring tiles left. So my opponent may struggle to score, but she probably doesn't need to score that much. She can get 15 to 20 points through this S, and that should be enough for her. Yeah, 15 points there. That's probably sufficient. She's now 45 points in front. There's only 1 tile in the bag. I do have the K and the V. So, is there anywhere where my K and V can score? Well, I've just noticed that I'm close to aardvark. Now my K can go here, so I could play dark. I don't want to play the K and the V off both in the same move, because the V is a scoring tile at this stage in the game. That's 32 points. That's going to take me to 407, 13 points behind. I'm picking up 1 tile. So I really would be looking to play out in 1. That is going to be a struggle. So can I do better than this? It takes a V in front. Let me just put this back. So I've got dark for 30 odd points. Do I have anything down here? Well, no, I've got nothing which can go after the W. I'm wondering if I've got anything starting on this triple letter square and ending in K. Don't think so. I note that my V can go here in front of Anne. So I could play dive. And that's going to remain available after dark. 28 points. So do I play dive first? I've actually got divest. Only 2 minutes to go. I'll probably pick up a vowel. Well, $32 points. I feel drawn towards playing dark. I don't know why. I just think it is better. Oh well, how useful is this S? Is the S at this point? I could play it here. 36 points. I think that increases my chances of being able to go out in one. I'm running out of time, so I think I will go with this. I'm now 9 points behind. Do I have an out in one? Through a K, I would have vodka. I do have dive, but that isn't going out, and my opponent ought to be going out in two. And if I play dive, I think she will score enough in 2 goes. Through an I would have avoid. Well, through a CST, vodcast. Not many spots to consider on this board. And my opponent will know what I have. She can play studio in column 1, which will be pretty good. It will stop my dive play. Yeah, maybe I should have played dive or divest first. The K is probably a more flexible tile than the V. Five minutes left for my opponent. I'm looking around to see if I can go out in one. What will studio score? 30 points. That would take my opponent to 450. 2 on count back. So I'm looking to score 37. Well, even if I go out, that won't be enough. Studio is a very common word, but it can be missed. It is slightly odd, ending IO. Wow. Okay. Only 18 points, 27 points behind. Well, certainly if I could go out now, I might win, but I've only got a minute left on the clock. Can't see anything down here. Less than a minute left. Well, I'm struggling to find anywhere for my V. Well, my opponent may not be able to go out in 2. I think this is undoubtedly a lost game. Oops. So I've got 2 seconds left to play my A. I can play Gamut. 8 points. I'm looking around for anywhere more. Gamut for 8. I haven't seen anything better. My opponent's got 3 minutes. I've got 2 seconds. I haven't seen anything better. I've got 6 for car, CAA in column 9. Ag and Dan, 7 points. My game time has expired. Right, I don't think that mattered anyway. I lose 10 points with the expiry. But my opponent won by more than 10. So, the final score, 431 to me, 454 to my opponent, a winning margin of 23 points. So, well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. I'm ruining providing my opponent with the opportunity of playing Chin. That was a bit of a body blow. Now, my opponent went first with Jenny. Labara, I won. Well, that's across here. 24 points. I think Arable is better, just. Not a nice rack for my opponent. She has all 3 Gs. Now, I played pars for 35. I could have played par for 24, 11 fewer points. Probably not a huge amount between those plays. The S is worth about 8, maybe slightly more at the beginning of the game, and it's synergetic with the I and the R. Yeah, my opponent doesn't have an S, so this would have been a lane open for me, but it wouldn't have been a spot with the S in last place of a bingo. So probably not much between those. This was my opponent's rack. She played Fez for 50, which was a great spot. I came back with Wex for 53. That looks best. This is where my opponent has Genitor and played Roseting. Let's see what else she had. Nitrogen. Difficult one to see. Now, what to do here? Well, there was Hiera, but keeping IIO, which is pretty awful. Gosh, I think I changed here, but maybe Hiera would have been better. Very difficult to say, because Hiera opens up a really hot spot in row A, and the rack leave is atrocious. So I changed 4. Yeah, if I'd played Hiera, my opponent could have played Teach across here, so Hiera would have been punished. My opponent played Chorea, and I was able to play Spheric for 112. I didn't spend time looking for a better bingo, even though Spheric took an A in front, and as you can see, all of the other bingos scored significantly less. Gosh, terrible rack for my opponent, but she was able to score 50 points with TA. Now, this was my rack. I played Novelty. Novelty would definitely have been better. Same score, but T is a better tile to keep than L. Horrendous rack for my opponent, and she was only 8 points ahead at this point, so she did well to come out on top. Yeah, change there. Now, did I miss a bingo with this rack? No, I didn't, and Jubile looks fine. My opponent's change played off, quite a nice rack. Now, again, I felt that I was close to a bingo here. There wasn't one. Onium I13. Where's that? Oh well, coming down here. 20 points. Yeah, round for 2 more points and a better rack leave. Which played into my opponent's hands. She did well and spotted Matlow's, the only playable bingo, so superb spot on her part. This was my rack. And this is where I think I messed up by playing Finn, which takes a lot of the vowels after it. Maybe something just like Foyne would have been better. Anyway, what's being suggested here is J11 Foyd down here. Well, that's killing floaters. So I'm not overly enamoured of that. But my actual play, although it opened up column 1, scored very little. So there may well be a better play than either of those. This was my opponent's rack. Wow, she could have played chins for 69. So Finn was pretty reckless. Now, I had undoers. There was also enduros at G1. Oh wow, enduros down here. Okay, that's the 4th anagram of the set, and I didn't consider it. And Sounder played down here. Okay, well that was poor. Playing undoers for 72 starting here when I could have played Sounder for 13 more points. Now, where does resounds play? L8. Ah, through here. Okay. So that's undoers. Horrible rack for my opponent, but she has a 30-point lead. Yeah, if I'd played enduros, I would have reduced that lead by half. So I think the game is now beyond me. I am 45 points behind. I played darks. And I wonder whether divest would have been better. Very difficult to know. Would need analysis. This was my opponent's rack. Let's see what is recommended. Well, studio she didn't play or didn't spot. Played tied for 18. This was my rack. I am now 27 points behind. I would get 10 on countback, so I need to go out and score 17. Could I do that? No, and video looks like it was best for 18. This was my opponent's rack. She still had the Chins Jubilee spot. Instead played Sui for 16. I have an A, and I played Gamut for 8, and that was best. So, an interesting game. I think there were 2 errors in that game on my part. Certainly playing undoers instead of enduros was one, and the other was playing Finn. It had strategic merit, but I think if I was going for that strategy, I could have done better with something like Info or Foyne. And anyway, and a fascinating game. My opponent does play at World Championship level. I think she represents Trinidad and Tobago, so it's always good to play against somebody who you know is good. She played well, and Matlow's was a terrific spot. So overall, a really good game to play. I hope you enjoyed watching that and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.